What up, peeps? It's your girl Dodge coming back to you from Real Takes. Well, since it's the end of the year coming to a close, I thought it was only fitting that I put together a top 10 movies of 2018. Now, we had quite a bit that came out this year that I liked, some that I was looking forward to, as you say, most anticipated. And I think after a long, drawn-out week, I picked the ones that suited what I like throughout the year. Now, I wanted, before I start, to do a notable mention, and I have a couple of those I want to throw out real quick before I start my list. Now, the ones on this one, first and foremost, I will say that I enjoyed was Annihilation. That was starring Natalie Portman and Oscar Isaac, and Jennifer Jason Leigh, and Tessa Thompson. Very high concept sci-fi, if you will. I know this is based off of a novel, like a trilogy novel, and I will say I really enjoyed the movie. I know a lot of people didn't know how to take it, but I did enjoy it. There were quite a few different scenes, you know, one with the creature, whichever, but there was one particular scene I loved where she was in some sort of lighthouse, if you will, and she basically came across someone who mimicked her every move. I just thinking about that scene is just, I was literally in awe, and I wasn't the only one because a lot of us in the theater were in awe. So, but yes, I really enjoyed that movie. Another one I enjoyed was Overlord. That was directed by Julius Avery. I enjoyed it immensely. I love it because this gives me, you know, first, you know, with circa, you know, wartime, you know, of course, the eve of D-Day. Then, of course, the fact that you're dealing with certain things happening or across enemy lines, so you will, you know, using certain terms that turns people into, you can say, like zombies, like a zombie apocalypse. Could you imagine? Loved it, loved it, loved it. I love the casting. I know Wyatt Russell was in this. It was really, really good. I'm actually looking forward to Julius Avery's next movie that he has down the pike, which is supposed to be, I think, Flash Gordon. So I'm looking forward to that. So, because the way he did this one has me very expecting high hopes. So, moving on. Now, another one I enjoyed was Bad Times at El Royale. That is, of course, you know, 7 strangers, 1 hotel. All of them come across this hotel. You know, some of them going there for some sort of, you know, last attempt at redemption, you know, and then some others are coming in for other, you know, motives, you know, ones that are not really good. And I love the casting. Of course, you had your Chris Hemsworth, you had your Dakota Johnson, Cynthia Erivo, Jeff Bridges, just to name a few. It was such a great eclectic cast. It was awesome. And I love the way certain characters were. Of course, I love the singing from Cynthia. I love the way Dakota carried herself. It was just great from beginning to end. You know, I couldn't say enough about that. Another one I want to bring up is, of course, Upgrade, and that one was good. I loved that movie. I want to say, is it Logan? I had to write his name down. Logan Marshall Green. I loved him in that movie. I swear to God, if I didn't know any better. You know, just the way it was done. Of course, you know, him dealing with kind of like an arc of him dealing with revenge after they killed his wife, and then he's paralyzed, but then they do some sort of, you know, microchip on him that's called STEM, and then of course, you know, he finds these people courtesy of STEM helping him along the way, and having these, you know, very, you know, interesting situations that happen, and he's able to fend off these bad guys, whatever. I love the way the fight sequences were done. Very well done. That whole movie from beginning was really good. Now, I will say this, I didn't particularly care for the ending, but it is what it is. But other than that, it was a good time for all. Another one I want to note was Mandy with Nicolas Cage. When I saw that trailer, I loved that movie. I had to see it. I know a lot of people always want to make this comment when it comes to him, you know, well, if anybody can do crazy, Nicolas can do that. He's been in quite a few movies, and I know the 30 years I've been watching him, where every now and then he can go that way in regards to his particular role, whichever. This one, of course, is nothing short of just, it was great. You dealing with, you know, him and his wife being in a secluded, you know, forest area, dealing with these hippie cults, with these demon bikers. You know, you have long damn chainsaws. You got Bill Duke. I mean, what could you ask for? I just was loving it. You know, the blood, the guts, everything about it was good. Yes, he did bring the crazy. I was here for it. And it was one of those ones that I just had to really honestly mention. So I got those ones that I want to get out of the way. So I'm kind of basically ready to get to my 10. So number 10 is the movie titled Disobedience. This is the one that's starring Rachel Weisz and Rachel McAdams. Now, one thing I can say, when I saw the trailer for this, I was very intrigued because of the simple fact that this is dealing in an Orthodox Jewish community. She, of course, Rachel Weisz's character, her name in the movie is Ronti, and she basically has been shunned by the family, and she basically comes back because her father has passed, and then she, of course, comes across her friend who is now, married, to someone, very close. Now, she had a close relationship with Esty and a guy friend. I cannot remember his name. My apologies. But needless to say, the reason she was shunned is because she had a certain attraction to Esty's character, played by Rachel McAdams. And kind of, those feelings kind of come back a little bit. And she basically, both of them are torn, more so Esty, played by McAdams, kind of realizing, she's living a life that she's truly not happy with just to please others. And then that's in this instance where she realizes that, she has to come to terms with the situation. Other things kind of cause a halt to her coming into her own, so to speak, and then she really has to sit down and think about what she's doing. Hence her husband, and also thinking about this relationship, these feelings she has for Rachel Weisz's character named Ronti. So yes, it was a very, very good movie. I really enjoyed it, and I always say it, I'm a fan of Rachel Weisz. She honestly can't do anything wrong, and I just love all the different roles she picks, whichever, because I really do get very engulfed in some of those movies that she does, and this was one of those. Same thing for Rachel McAdams. Can't say enough about her. She's done quite a few movies that I love over the years, and I just love how she just keeps, bringing it with, role after role as well. So, but yes, that was one of those good ones I just had to put on my list. So, like I said, number 10 is Disobedience. So, moving on. Number 9 is Hereditary. Now, I know a lot of people didn't particularly care for this movie. From the trailer, they got the creepy factor, and yes, the trailer was creepy. I will say this, in the movie there were parts that were creepy. Now, there are a lot of people who didn't see it. They basically wanted to wait, because I know a couple individuals who waited to know what I thought. Still wasn't sure if they kind of gave them a little bit more information about the movie. The way the comment section was, some people thought it was the best thing the whole year in regards to horror. Some people were just like, I don't know what this was. No. I'm kind of in the middle, where I think it was really good for what it was, because it was not what's considered, what horror is to be, jump scares, whichever. You're dealing with a matriarch of a family who has passed away. Toni Collette plays the daughter of her mother who has passed, and she's dealing with, certain situations with her daughter and her son and her husband, played by Gabriel Byrne. Now, I will say this, the little girl in there was very creepy. This little tongue clicking thing she would do was very creepy. She did it quite a bit in the movie. The son was very mellow, whatever, and all that, but he had his moments as well. But let's just say the main person who brought the creepy factor, honestly, throughout this movie was Toni Collette. Now, she's one of my favorite actresses. I love her. She is awesome. Needless to say, a lot of things start happening. Certain things happen, certain events that change the dynamic of the family, and then it leaves you to deal with other situations where certain individuals come into the family that you think are new friends, but not so. I don't know how many people have probably seen the movie or whatever and all that, but just little things that were building up to what happened towards the end. I will say this, that ending, if you haven't seen the movie, let's just say there's some very graphic things in the movie, and it was a lot. That last, I say 30-40 minutes was a lot to take in. It was a lot to absorb what was going on. And you're just like, it's almost like a mind. I won't even say the real word I want to add to the end, but okay. You kind of get what I'm saying, whichever. But in the end, overall, I really enjoyed it because it's not what I would think it would be. That's why I always tell people, when you look at trailers, I don't assume anything from a trailer, whatever, and I don't let a trailer give me the overall premise that I'm going to go see a movie. Or sometimes I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm going to go see it. And then other things, it'll intrigue me so much so, because I'm not understanding the way it's cut and edited, that I'm still intrigued enough that I'm like, you know what, I like the way that was done, I'm interested. And that was one of these type of movies that did that to me, and I'm glad I went, because in the end, I actually really did enjoy it. So, but with that said, number 9 is Hereditary. So moving on to number 8, you guys. My number 8, and this one is a shocker because I was not really thinking I was going to be seeing this, and that is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Now, when I say that, is because earlier in the year, someone had asked me if I was going to go see this, and I was like, no, I'm not really interested on it. To be honest with you, I don't do animation as much like a lot of people do, whichever. I'm not really, maybe when I was a little younger, I used to be really more into whichever. But now with movies, with overall genre, I just stick to just other movies like drama, action, whatever. Not too much animation. I had no desire to see any animation that was coming out this year. There was many things that were coming out, Incredibles 2, you know, Ralph Breaks the Internet. None of those things, honestly, were appealing to me at the time to go see it. When I did see the trailer finally, I was like, okay. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I am a fan of some Spider-Man stuff, whichever. I don't read the comics, but I have enjoyed the movies since Tobey all the way until the ones with Tom Holland. So I said, let me see how this animation is going to go. And I was pleasantly surprised with the trailer. So I went to the theater to see it when it came out that weekend, you know, in this month. And I was pleasantly surprised. I really enjoyed the movie. It was really good. I love how we got to learn about Miles Morales. You know, his, you know, interaction with his parents, how he's going to a school out of his area, whatever, and all that, you know, higher education of sorts, whichever. I love how he, of course, gets bitten by some type of radioactive spider and gets these senses and all that. He's thinking he's only Spider-Man, but come to find out he's not. He meets the original Peter Parker. You come across Spider-Gwen. You come across Spider-Ham, Spider-Noir. It just, you know, I loved everything about it. Dr. Ock, you know, Fisk, all these different characters you got to see. One I can say that I really enjoyed were scenes with him and Peter Parker, played by Jake Johnson. I enjoyed the scenes with the Prowler. Those scenes with the Prowler, and then of course the reveal, were so good. I really enjoyed that. I really was just enjoying every minute of it. Of course, I'm hoping a lot of you all have seen this. If I am, I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. This is my top 10. The year is over. I'm playing. Just the scene of Stan Lee in the animation was just nice. You could hear the people in the audience. We just loved that part. And it was just overall a good fun time, you know, from beginning to end. You know, of course, it gave us a little something at the end of the movie. I was glad I went to see it, and I can say this, and I can actually say it honestly, when it comes out, I'm going to get it on DVD. I have not gotten an animation in a long time, but this is one of those ones where honestly, if I put it in, I would watch it, you know, even if it was, you know, nothing else was on, whatever and all that, or if even something was on and I wanted to watch it, I really would. And I don't say that often about a lot of movies. I just do that randomly. So yes, I'm glad I enjoyed that movie. So moving on from that, you guys. So number 7, A Quiet Place. This one I really enjoyed a lot. Now the premise of it, of course, you know, everything done in just sheer silence, dealing with a post-apocalyptic, you know, world. You know, this family is doing everything in silence. You know, they have a situation where they lose a young loved one, you know, early on, whichever. And of course now, you know, a year has passed, and it shows, of course, the mom pregnant, and then they have their other son, and they have their, you know, deaf daughter, and just trying to just go about their lives, whatever. You know, the daughter dealing with, you know, feeling, you know, responsible, the father trying to keep everybody together, and then dealing with this creature out there, whichever, that can sense any type of noise. I mean, just the ultra sensitive, you know, anything out there. Let me tell you, when I went to the movies, I literally was in shock because of the fact that it was so quiet, because people were literally listening intently, and I actually enjoyed every minute of that. That was awesome. Secondly, I was excited at the fact that it was so good to know that the first-time director John Krasinski, who plays in the movie with the husband and wife team, Emily Blunt playing his wife in real life as well, I thought that was just kudos to him for his first time, you know, behind the camera. He did an excellent job. I really enjoyed this movie from beginning to end. Secondly, this did so well. From the, was it $17 to $20 million budget, it made almost over $340 something million. So that lets you know that we definitely have a second one in the works. I'm looking forward to maybe a prequel or sequel. So just had to put that out there. But yes, that was another one I really enjoyed. Something totally different in the instance of that. So but moving on from that, you guys. My number 6 is Creed 2. I really enjoy this. Now, the thing with me is I'm biased because I love me some Rocky films, and definitely enjoy the first Creed, starring Michael B. Jordan, Tessa Thompson, and of course, Sylvester Stallone. Now, with this one, we come back. You know, he's on unfinished business, of course, with the last fighter he was with from the previous film, but then dealing with someone who is a new fighter, but not a new fighter in certain ways where he has a past or history, so to speak, with the father of the fighter, being that he's the one that took his father from him, you know. So yes, this one was a little more heavy in storyline. It's, I consider, like they said, the sins of the father. You know, you're dealing with Adonis, dealing with the fact that him losing his father, Apollo Creed, to against Ivan Drago, and of course now the son Victor Drago wants to fight him. I love the dynamic of seeing him come to terms with, wanting to deal with this situation with, coming past being in the shadow of his father, dealing with his father, wanting somewhat of a revenge. Same thing with Victor, wanting the revenge and all, but then trying to prove something to his father, Ivan, dealing with what they're dealing with in Russia, mother leaving him. It's just him and his dad, his father pushing him, not really bonding with him, all about a fight, getting back, some way at Rocky through Adonis. Just the whole parameters of it. Secondly, the director of this, we all thought it would be Ryan Coogler, but it was not. It was actually Stephen Caple Jr. And I think for his first movie, prior to this, he'd only did a couple of TV shows, whichever, short films, but this to be his first actual movie in a big blockbuster of sorts, did an excellent job. I'm so happy for him, because this, of course, how it was with Ryan Coogler doing the first Black Panther, he has opened doors for himself. So now I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do in the future. I know Michael B. Jordan let it be known that he would love to do probably another one. We'll have to see who they'll pair him up with the next time. I love seeing Sylvester Stallone, getting a little understanding of what he's been going through, trying to bond back with his son, mend those fences with him, coming to terms with, of course, his, wife, Adrienne being passed, visiting her at the cemetery. Just, it was a very heavy, there was certain parts, of course, him, Adonis dealing with his girl, Bianca, being pregnant. They have their daughter, and then of course she has the same issues as her mother has with her hearing. Just so many emotions, whatever, going through it. And I really enjoyed this movie from beginning to end. It was such a great movie. I know some people like the first one more than this one. I honestly like this one more, and I loved more of this dynamic, probably because we did get a lot of flashbacks and nostalgic for what happened with Rocky and Ivan. But in the end, Adonis held his own, with what he did, and as well as Florian Montu playing Victor Drago. He did an excellent job in this movie, so but kudos to them. It was a great movie. So moving forward, number 5, Suspiria. Now, I remember doing the trailer. This is based off of a movie that was done by Dario Argento back in 1977. Very creepy. I was very young. I said it before, whether it all freaked me out, whatever. But when I saw the trailer, I was very intrigued with this one, because this one's done by Luca, I want to say, Guadagnino. And I think he did an excellent job with this movie. It's starring Dakota Johnson. We have Tilda Swinton. We also have Grace Moretz. Done beautifully. Of course, this is during like circa Germany, of course, 70s for that, and it shows Susie, played by Dakota, going to this particular dance group studio called, I want to say, Marco's Dance Studio, excuse me. And let's just say that she comes across, the head of the school. She is welcomed with open arms by Tilda Swinton's character, and let's just say it's being run by witches. And there were many different scenes that I enjoyed throughout this movie. Of course, seeing Susie come into her own, proving herself, having a certain way of moving her body, whichever, from what Dakota said, from all her training, then seeing parts with Grace Moretz, the character going through certain things where she feels like she is not herself. She feels like someone's in her head, in her mind. She can't function. She's left the school, whichever. She's out there to show her in the rain, whichever, It was just a lot going on. I love how you got to see how some of the witches carried themselves. They were very creepy throughout this movie. But other than that, yes, you see a scene of what looks like to be something that is laying dormant under the actual dance company. Then you hear things, in the middle of the night, But let me tell you, there's one particular scene in here, and it basically is a scene where one of the girls feels like the women are doing witchcraft, and she accuses them of this. So when she tries to leave, the witches don't like that. So they decide to lock her into one of the rooms, dance rooms, whichever. And let's just say this particular actress actually is a contortionist, because I had to really understand what I was watching to really, and I did my research after the movie, didn't know she was a contortionist, because this particular scene is so graphic. Let me tell you guys, it's a lot to take. I felt so nauseous. I really thought I was going to throw up, because I had to turn away sometimes. It went on, it seemed like, for damn near almost 5 minutes. And I wasn't the only one, because you could hear people behind me. But let's just say that one was a doozy for me. But towards the end, one last thing with this particular movie. I was we were like probably the last 10 minutes. Someone left the theater and decided to let the management know that they were probably getting creeped out, so they turned the lights on. So that lets you know there are some creepy factors in this particular reimaging of Suspiria. So, but yes, it was a really good movie, very creepy for me. Loved it. So that was my number 5. My number 4 is Green Book. I really enjoyed this movie. I finally got around to see this. I want to apologize to my subscribers who had commented, was looking forward to me doing a review around Christmas time. It got a little busy and I didn't get a chance to actually do my review when I did some other ones. I do feel bad about that, but the good thing is that it is on my top 10, and rightfully so. This movie is based off of true events. You all remember my actual trailer reaction where I discussed this being in regards to the Negro, traveler's guidebook, dealing with, travel and vacations, so to speak. Dr. Don Shirley, played by Mahershala Ali. And then, of course, what is his name? Tony Lip, played by Viggo Mortensen. I loved the dynamic of seeing him, work with this gentleman. He's, of course, going on tour. He is a very prestigious world-class African-American pianist, and he needs somebody to kind of be, at times, a butler, of course, his driver, and his muscle. And he basically did kind of all those things. You get to see him going through areas of the South, different areas, Arkansas, Alabama, Mississippi, North Carolina, whichever, dealing with certain situations. There were times when I watched the movie were a lot to take in, but this is not something new to me. I've seen many movies where you get to see what happened in the 60s, and this is what was happening, I want to say circa 1962. And I really enjoyed how at first, as Tony Lip said, why you keep, busting my balls, he kept just getting on him, whatever, knowing he could have more potential to do better, whatever. I did love that they showed Tony Lip being such a wonderful family man, loving his wife and his kids, whatever, and just want to provide for them, coming from the Bronx, doing his thing, whatever. So it's like, two different people come from two different worlds, whichever. I loved when you get to see him, Dr. Shirley discuss how he feels, being a certain way, because it was in the trailer where I'm not black enough, I'm not white enough, so what should I be, when he's yelling at him in the middle of the road, in the rain, whichever, dealing with being locked up, because they got stopped, whatever, he shouldn't be on this particular road because he did take a detour, or dealing with a situation where he went to a bar and some men in there decided to rough him up, whatever, and then Tony Lip saying I have to be with you, but then he would still do certain things, whichever, without him being around, whichever. And then they're finally having this moment where they come together, and that respect is kind of there now. It's like they get met in the middle, and it's like they kind of get each other, and now they have that respect, whichever. And I love the ending where you think that he is going home. It's Christmas, Tony Lip has been dropped off. He takes the the rental back, whatever. But then eventually he shows up, whichever, and is welcomed with open arms, whatever, into the family, whichever. Because I just hated the way it kept kind of depicting him as kind of being alone, even though Tony was like, he knew a little bit about his family, him talking about his brother, he no longer has a wife, he couldn't do a wife and then also do his piano and have this certain persona. So that was really good to watch, and it was very interesting. Secondly, just overall, seeing, there was one particular scene that was really touching and really hard to watch. Is a part where they're stopped and the car starts to act up, and he, Tony has to fix it. And of course, Dr. Shirley's in the car. He gets out. You see these people, picking cotton, whichever, and a couple of them stop because they see this man. They're just like in sheer awe, like, is that a black man? Is that a white man? Tending to the car. Is that a white man opening the door? Is that a white man letting him into the back seat and he's chauffeuring him? Just very powerful stuff like that, and just something when you're going through a different area that people are not used to, and you go into another area, another state, whatever, and it's nothing. It's not seen as anything out of the ordinary. So that was something to watch, whichever. I always get very emotional when I watch certain movies like this, whichever, because some of these things, I do know of. Like I said, I'm familiar with, the Negro, Traveler's Guide, whichever, and other aspects of it. But there's other movies I've seen over the last couple of years where I didn't know certain things. So I always love to hear true events or true stories where they can kind of go into more in-depth, discussion, and within the film, and you get a little bit more understanding of how things are going to flow. So, but yes, this was a great movie. I enjoyed that immensely. So, but moving on. Now, number 3. I know I might be cheating a little bit with this one, but I have to go here because this would have pushed back one movie in particular, and I wanted to add this one, and that was for Spider-Man. That's why I added it where I did. Number 3 has 2, because both of these two were 2 of my most anticipated movies, definitely for certain, out of a couple other ones, but they're both right on the edge, and that is Avengers Infinity War and Aquaman. Now I'm going to talk about Avengers Infinity War. Now, first and foremost, this was 10 years in the making. We had waited for so long to finally see Thanos, and I'm going to tell you like this, we were not let down. I can only speak for myself, but I feel like a lot of people would agree with me. We were not let down. I enjoyed finally getting to see him in all of his glory, causing so much destruction to everyone, dealing, of course, as our characters, Iron Man, Thor, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Hulk. Poor Hulk, didn't want to come out. I just could not. It was so much going on in that movie. All these different characters within this movie. It was just a lot going on. I'm gonna tell you, I had to go again. I saw this 3 times. The third time was just for sheer enjoyment. The first time was just like, I'm taking all this stuff in, all these different characters have their own time, on screen, and then trying to understand what's happening, then trying to go back and see it again to understand, okay, this is what's doing, okay, this character's doing this is going on, this, and then dealing with him causing destruction by just a snap of his hand. And then seeing certain characters deteriorate. I mean, if you could have heard the people in the audience at the theater when I went the first 2 times, it was just so much going on. It was unbelievable. I know one of the scenes I love was the scene with Thor coming down looking for Thanos. That audience in there went wild. It was an epic scene. I love the scene where Doctor Strange is, kind of pulling the wool over Thanos' eyes. And first they had him until someone decided he was so mad about, Gamora, but I'm not going to go there, And then also other scenes, like, of course, like I said, the Hulk getting too scared to come out and leaving Banner to fend for himself. Just so many different scenes that I just love, about this whole movie. I love the fight, the overall, battle scene on Wakanda. I loved seeing, my girl Black Widow do her thing, fighting, just everything. I'm looking forward to Avengers, Endgame. I know a lot of people are just hyped because of the trailer it gave us was just a taste, and I'm gonna tell you, it felt like a freaking teaser for real. So I can only imagine what the official trailer will truly be, because they're having to keep that under wraps, whatever. But I'm just like here for it. I'm looking forward to that. It's a lot going on in that. We're getting introduced to some new people, of course, going to March with Captain Marvel and all that. I'm looking forward to seeing some things getting handled, some conclusions, all that. Again, great movie. Now, since this was tied, I said Aquaman. What can I say? I had been waiting ever since Justice League when I saw that Jason Momoa was going to be playing Aquaman. I was here for it. Let me put it like this. I've been a fan of him well before Game of Thrones. I hate when people just assume no. Not everybody was following him. Game of Thrones. Some of us go way back. But yes, he is a great actor in this. Director James Wan did his thing in this movie. I loved every minute of this. Needless to say, just the visuals, the underwater, just everything. Mira, just Volko, King Orm. It was just beautifully. The fight sequences were good. Nicole Kidman playing, Queen Atlanta. She was great. I loved every minute of this movie. I love him coming into his own, going on his journey, going on that treasure hunt to get that trident, proving his work that they might need a king, but they need a hero, him being what he needs to be. Seeing Black Manta, knowing that I know something's coming for us. We're going to get that sequel because there's unfinished business. And just everything about it was just so great. I'm already planning to go see it again real soon before they yank it from the theaters. I don't think it's going to be yanked anytime soon, but I definitely want to see it in the theaters probably one more time, whichever. But I feel like for James Wan to me, always being known as doing something that's always considered horror, for him to just go out of his, was considered his normal element and then go into this, kudos, because I know he put out there, if it doesn't do well, just blame him. There's no need for that. His vision for a lot of things, even horror, and then this lets you know as a director, he knows what he's doing. I feel very confident. If he was to go and do a comedy, whatever, I wouldn't even care. I'd probably go see it. I just think he's great. He's just doing his thing, and I'm here for it. So, and I think a lot of people are, because I think this movie has made so far a little over 480 million. So that lets you know. I think everybody's kind of happy with what they've seen. I haven't heard anything honestly bad about it. So I'm just happy for it. So yes, I had to tie two movies. So, and for number 3. So, but moving on, you guys. I know this might be a little long, but you know it's my top 10. I'm gonna make it as long as I need. Number 2, you should already know, Wakanda. Black Panther, you guys. Black Panther. Let me just put it like this: when they finally showed that teaser, and we had to wait almost a full year. That wait was excruciating because I was so excited after I saw a little bit, but then we kept getting another trailer, then another trailer, then they did Comic-Con. It was just, once it finally came out, I was glued. I was glued to that screen from beginning. They sucked me in. T'Challa, Killmonger, Nakia, Shuri, Wakabi, Okoye, M'Baku. Need I say more? Zuri. Need I say more? It was just, that cast is unbelievable. Unbelievable. T'Challa coming into his own, basically being put in a situation where he has to become king because he's now lost his father. Him going to battle, the fight with him and M'Baku, and of course he is now being considered a king, but then having another person to deal with, not unbeknownst to him, certain things coming back from the past, if you want to say sins of the father, doing stuff, on the low, and then it's coming out, basically blindsiding the family, coming to terms, losing to the fight, being knocked over the waterfall. Just all the scenes, the visuals. I loved the banter between him and his sister, Shuri, played by Letitia Wright. She was hilarious, very much a scene stealer, as well as M'Baku, played by Winston Duke, scene stealers. He was hilarious. I loved, of course, seeing Angela Bassett playing his mother. Of course, Nakia, played by Lupita Nyong'o. Okoye, being in charge of his army, played by Danae. Oh my goodness, just everything. I will say this, I was none too happy with the ending fight scene battle between Killmonger and T'Challa. I wanted it to happen out amongst Wakanda, out for all to see, where it's in broad daylight, whichever, but they want to do it below, like in some sort of subway, no less, but it is what it is. But overall, honestly, everything about the movie, the visuals, the sets, the clothing, how beautiful they made Wakanda, just the visuals alone. Ryan Coogler did an amazing job. I know a lot of people, after he did, Creed, when he got, brought in by, Kevin Feige, to put in his vision, them talking about what he sees in him, giving him the free reign to do that. And I'm glad he did that. He had enough faith to know that he would. And look what they did. They did, what was it? Over, 1.3 billion. Just unbelievable. I'm already here for when he does Black Panther 2, because I know he is locked in to do the second one. I'm looking forward to definitely more action, a little bit more understanding of what they're going to do with their technologies for America. Now they're going to share it, because that was one of the things I enjoyed with him, Killmonger. I'm like, you keeping this all to yourself, whatever, you could be helping others, whichever, and understand T'Challa finally coming to terms with, what he knows, that he can be king, and feeling he is worthy to be king. Just beautiful. So yes, I just love that movie, and also so much so that I did a Black Panther skit to it. So you know what, yes, I loved it that much, whichever. So I was here for it when it came out. So yeah, I can't say enough about it. Like I said, I'm ready for a sequel. So, but moving on. Now, I'm at the last one, you guys. My number 1 movie. A lot of people might be surprised by this. Some people understand the movie for what it is, whichever. But this movie I really enjoyed from literally from beginning to end. Not a thing wrong with it. Might be a bias because I'm a fan of his work for over 30-something years. But it was good. And that is Mission Impossible number 6, Fallout. Yes, Tom Cruise is my number 1. I love me some Mission Impossible. I enjoyed, when I saw the shows, but when he came on board to do the series, the overall franchise, when he did good, that first one, a couple other ones after that, when he did Rogue Nation, I was like, okay, looking really good. I'm enjoying this one. This one looks good. Ghost Protocol, it was okay, but when he did Rogue Nation, I was here for it. I like the fact that they added Rebecca Ferguson, but when they did this one, the cast overall, and then of course they added Henry Cavill, I was just like in awe. The storyline, the action, the pacing, Everything was done great. Everything. Feel bad. Poor Tom got a little hurt on one of the scenes, whichever, but let's just say that never keeps him down, because once he healed, he was back at it. That's one thing I had to say about Tom Cruise, is that I respect him. He is a perfectionist, and he likes to do his own stunts. He will do as much as he can, because God forbid, you don't want him to get so hurt that, you know, he's out of commission fully. So when they let him give, you know, leeway, whatever, I think he puts in his contract, yeah, I want to do as many of his own stunts as he possibly can to make it as genuine as possible. And I give him kudos to that. That's why a lot of people say, yeah, Tom Cruise crazy and all, but then as much as he's crazy to some people, they respect the fact that they know when they see those scenes, it's him doing them. Because I'll admit it, when I look at certain action sequences in other movies, you're looking to see if you recognize the face. Oh, that's not them. That's sad that we do that, but a lot of people do. But when it comes to his movies, we can almost guarantee 9 times out of 10 it is him. And I can say that, yes, in this one, it definitely was him. And just like I said, the motorcycle scene, you know, the scene where he's in the air and he jumps out the plane, you know, just everything. The scene in the bathroom was epic. All of us in the theater were just having a field day. It was awesome. I loved every minute of it. So, yes, I can't say enough. The director for this, Christopher McCurry, did an awesome job. I'm going to put it like this. I don't know if he's locked in to do another, because I know they said that Tom is definitely in concentration with the possibility of doing a 7th one. They're probably in just beginning stages of talking about what kind of storyline, whatever, but I know that he definitely wants to do another one. I'm hoping that Christopher comes back. That would be awesome. I'm hoping that he keeps that in mind. I know he's trying to do some other, you know, pieces of work, whichever and all that, but please do. Thank you for this, because it was I got a copy of this prior to it coming out on DVD, telling on myself, and I had to watch it again. I couldn't even wait for it to come out on DVD, you know. Excuse me guys, please don't judge me, but yes, but in the end it was good. And like I said, if I want some good action, and it's honestly one of those ones where if ain't nothing on TV, I'm just gonna pop that baby right in there. I watch it because at least I know I'm gonna be entertained. And that's one thing about me when it comes to movies. I love to watch a movie that can entertain me. You know, just, you know, we all here, you know, we're all movie buffs, you know, we want to watch something good, whichever and all that, for those 2 hours, whatever, so we don't have to think about real life, real world. And that one did it for me. It really, really did. So I can say another one I had to add to my, you know, like I said, once I bought the DVD to my DVD collection, whichever. But like I said, I've been a fan of Tom Cruise for over 30 years. He has done so many movies that I love. So I think the first movie I saw that he did when I was really young, just to throw him out there real quick, is Legend. I think that was the one. It was that one, and it's another movie. I'm trying to think. I might even post the thing up here, but that was one of the ones I remember seeing when I was really young, before I started seeing him in movies like Risky Business and all that, when he kept on going, and I just kind of kept up with all his movies. So, but yes, Tom Cruise got my number 1, guys. So yes, that is my top 10 movies of 2018. There were so many things that came out. Honestly, there was one movie I do feel bad that I didn't get a chance to see, to put on my list, but I'm not going to worry about it. It's a little too late, whichever. I'm happy with what I chose to be on my list, and also for my notable mentions. So you guys comment below. Let me know which movies are your top 10. I am curious to see what you all are going to put down there. And with that said, you guys, I will see you on the next video. You guys take care.